Hello, Chiefs Kingdom, and welcome to the Arrowhead Kingdom Chiefs Cast live from the MKE, where we'll be talking Chiefs and all things NFL. I am Chris.
And I'm Josh, and tonight we're going to be talking the Chiefs roster and what if. So a big reminder that all Chiefs fans are invited to join us for game day. Visit arrowheadkingdom.org to learn more about the group and to find your local chapter. And of course, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.
Today we'll be talking their Kansas City Chiefs with our Andy Richter-esque producer extraordinaire, Brian Reynolds.
Yeah. We get
Hello,
better
everyone.
at saying that every week.
How we doing? Oh my gosh. What a day. What a week. I'm excited to be here.
All right. We're, of course, presented by Complete Weddings and Events, your leading provider, photo, video, DJ, photo booth lighting, and coordination services. Please visit them at CompleteWeDo.com. So, Brian, first question to you. Did you find a home for that black and white cat?
All right. So just so you know what we're doing here, we were doing pre-show prep talk and saw on my Facebook that someone posted for a missing cat. And I also had a flyer on my house and on my door that said, no, I don't think you can't see I don't think you can see the phone number in there, but so I'm trying to connect the two to them. So I'm just trying to start the conversation. I'm brokering the connection. Maybe that's why I'm the broker in this deal.
So we're all about starting conversations here at the Arrowhead Kingdom Chiefs Cast. The last thing we want is a cat missing. I mean, let's be clear about that. This is probably some kid's pet, and we want them to have them this evening. And obviously, this cat can't scratch itself, so we got to figure that out as well. But let's introduce the topic. So, Chris, given all the stuff that we have going on in the NFL right now, we got a ton of analysis to bang through. I think the most important thing for us to handle is let's pick 10 players from the Chiefs roster and talk about what it would be like if they played another sport professionally.
Yeah. No,
how's that sound?
This is a fun exercise. I can't wait to do it.
Okay, so let's list out the players first. So we're gonna pick from some offense, we're gonna pick from some defense, we're gonna pick from some special teams. So we're gonna, of course, do Mahomes, Hill, Kelsey, and Clyde, but we're also gonna do Cullen Sanders from the offensive line. Then we're gonna do Willie Gay, Frank Clark, the Honey Badger, and Sorensen from the defense, and then Tommy Townsend, our punter. So how does that sound?
Let's do it.
All right, so let's jump right in. Patrick Mahomes, if he was going to be pro in any other sport, Chris, what would you like to picture him at? And then talk about how you think it would be watching him play that sport.
I want him playing shortstop in baseball. I mean, come on, all the off-platform throws that he makes. I mean, I could just see him out there like Omar Vizquel or Ozzie Smith, just, moving to his right, almost being, near the third base foul line and just gunning a guy out, trying to dog it down the line. I mean, with his build, I could see him being like a pretty good, decent power hitter too. So, and also the following his dad's footsteps, he was a long time MLB pro, but every time I see him make an off-platform throw in football, I think, man, he looks like a shortstop every time he does that. So that's my pick for him.
Yeah, and definitely baseball is the first place that I thought about going, and I wanted to get cute with this one and say something like, oh, I'd like to see him playing, water polo or something like that. But when it comes down to it, most quarterbacks, and Mahomes is certainly no exception, are generally the best athletes on the team. They've been the best athletes in whatever group they're part of their entire life. But I wanted to go a slightly different direction, assuming you were going to go baseball. So I would like to see him play basketball. And I think that it could be really interesting to see him being part of, like a Splash Brothers, if you will. Thinking about, what an ideal situation for Mahomes growing up. I don't know if he was a Rockets or a Mavericks fan. I would assume that he was probably one of those two, being in Tyler, Texas. The Rockets would make the most geographical sense. The Mavericks would kind of make a lot of sense from where I'm going with this. Picture him and Luka Doncic playing next to each other. And Good God. You know, just
if
just
James
those
Harden
two.
was still a Rocket, I mean, gosh.
That would certainly change things. And you know,
Yeah.
I don't know. For all we know,
Yeah.
Mahomes might have been a Spurs fan growing up rooting for Popovich, and in that situation, I
Or it
mean,
could just been like a Lakers fan, just been like,
I would hope not,
uh,
just because I wouldn't
yeah.
like that. But you know, so you know, Mahomes is a basketball player. Brian, what sport do you think would be interesting to watch Mahomes play?
Oh, well, I hear he's good at golf.
There you go.
He
I want to
There you
watch
is.
him.
go.
Yeah.
He was at the Masters. I knows that. So yeah, I want to see him play golf. Or I should rephrase. I want to play golf with him.
Sure. Okay.
That's what I want to do.
All right. So apparently Brian's living out fantasies. So let's go on to our next player, and we'll go with Tyreek Hill. So Brian, what sport would you like to see Tyreek Hill play besides football? I mean, do you want to play golf with him too, or what do we do?
Oh, you know, the ones for Tyreek Hill, they once had a didn't they like show like okay, short answer is track, right? Like sprinting like
Sure.
the 200 yard
Yeah.
meter dash or whatever, because they show like how fast he is compared to like I think Olympic level athletes, and he like is competitive.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
I want to see that how that
He
plays
is.
out.
Yeah. Chris, what are you thinking?
After seeing that sick dunk he had on social media, I got to put him in basketball. And I'd actually love to see him go one-on-one with Sharon Collins, like Sharon Collins 2009 Sharon Collins or 2010. But I mean, both of those guys are just kind of, like just really built about the same height. I could just see them both just like, you know, being just guys that just take the ball to the rim, and it would just be, basically each one of them probably crossovering and breaking the ankles of the other guy and just dunking on top of him. So
Yeah.
I would love to see him play basketball.
All right, so I'm going to throw out a flat out trigger warning for people watching this. I am a big soccer fan, and I'll say that loud and proud. So,
Wait. You like soccer? Okay.
I love
Okay.
soccer.
Name every person who's ever played soccer ever. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah. All right. Here we go. So starting with Ace. But no. So I think that when you think about soccer as a world game, which is just an undeniable statement, when you think about soccer as a world game and where the U.S. could be if we had certain athletes within our world that would pick that sport as opposed to what they did. I think of Tyreek Hill. Think about if he was our striker, which is the guy that goes out to try and score goals. He's shifty, he's fast, he's elusive, he has the potential star appeal. Tyreek Hill is the guy that I pick, and I could just picture him having the Brazilian one name type of I'm Tyreek, I wear the number 10 for the US and I score goals, we won World Cups and stuff like that. That is Tyreek Hill, I would say, of all the guys that we're talking about tonight, is the one that has me actually like dreaming of something significant, and it would be Tyreek Hill as a striker for the U.S. men's national team, just destroying the rest of the world because with his build and his speed and the way that he does stuff, he would be an elite athlete of elite athletes, and he would probably be playing striker for like Manchester City or Real Madrid or Barcelona next to Lionel Messi.
Whenever I think of soccer, I think of that line from Dogma, that movie with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck and
Matt Damon.
That line, there's one line from it where they play like the fallen angels, and it's like a supernatural movie, and he plays like the angels that like destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, I think it's called, and he goes, he's just like reading, he goes, no man, reading down biblical genocide for like hours, it's like the most exhausting thing anyone could ever do next to soccer.
Yeah, exactly reading down. Oh god damn it. Okay, so
it just lives with me whenever I hear soccer. I think of that line.
Yep, that's awesome. I understand why anybody doesn't like it. I love it. There's not a sport that I don't like. We could easily and by we I mean I could easily do a couple hours just talking about soccer and random crap. But okay, so let's go into our next one. Travis Kelce. So Chris, what are you thinking?
I had him going WWE. I would love to see him in the ring. And I mean, good God. I mean, who has who has a bigger personality right now on the team than him? I mean, he would.
I'm going to
fit.
stop you right now. I agree. What, Brian? Do you have anything? Do you have anything to argue with here?
That is like the best answer.
That's
I was
pretty
not
much
thinking
where
of.
I was going to go. All right.
Mhm.
So before
Yeah,
we
I'd like to hear like his center, like when they're going and like they stop the match, they give him the microphone, and he just like
Yes.
goes off in the crowd or whatever. We get a little taste of that after the Super Bowl when we won the Super
is
Bowl.
going to do that anyway.
Yeah, you're going to.
You got to fight.
You do that in the NFL. Of course, I'm going to do that in WWE.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
And the good news is, I think that of all of these we're bringing up, that's probably the one that's most likely to actually happen.
Oh yeah.
It's most likely to actually happen.
Oh yeah.
All right. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire,
Hmm.
our running back. What other sport do you think would be super cool to watch him play?
Well, he's fast, and he's built to pound. Okay, so I mean, I'm not to be. I don't want to be like one note with golf and the popular sports. I mean, I'd like to see like. I know he's a running back. I don't know what's on the line, like because okay. Since he is quick and he's quick on his feet, then I guess tennis would be fun to watch him play because you got to be quick reaction skills. But I do know if there's an offensive line or defensive lineman in our future, seeing a guy who's 6'9", 320 trying to play tennis, that'd be pretty funny too.
Okay, so we're jumping the gun a little bit here, but no, I've got to agree. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, tennis was kind of the direction that I was going to. Just seeing that dude running around with his quick first step, and I'm picturing like the Andre Agassi, like up in the net, just intimidation, just pounding balls in your face. Clyde Edwards-Helaire with a racket is something that sounds interesting to me.
Yeah.
See, for me, the first thing when we drafted him, the first thing I heard about him was, man, he can make anybody miss in a phone booth. I mean, just the way that he can actually move around in a small amount of space. Can you imagine a guy like in a flash mob or something like that, or just like professional dancing or something like that? I mean, I don't know. I just as quick as he
work.
is,
Yeah, that should be able to work.
So actually, I'm gonna adjust mine. We have professional wrestling for Travis Kelce. I'm gonna go with Olympic Greco-Roman wrestling for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Yeah, just the amount of body control that makes somebody miss in a phone booth means that you're going to be taking down and getting escapes and stuff like that. So he could be the Olympic level, wrestler that we have, making the U.S. proud from that standpoint. And that's it. These are all the Olympic gold medal winning type of things that we're throwing out. So let's move on to the next one. Colin Sanders. Chris, I know you have a lot of opinions on this one because you brought him up.
I did. I mean, Colin Sanders is just a freak athlete, and I think one of the first videos that went viral about him is he had some crazy like vertical jump. And then of course he was playing linebacker against the Chargers in week 17. Yeah, 300-pound guy, flying around as a linebacker. So I personally would love to see him on an episode of American Ninja Warrior just to really test out that athleticism. And I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a guy as big as him try and go through that obstacle course. So I would love to see him do something like that.
Cool. Brian, what are your thoughts?
Colin Saunders,
6
feet, 324. That's my height. That's our height, right? Are we all 6 feet tall?
Exactly.
324. That's like,
324.
oh my God. I mean, he must be packing a lot of muscle, I assume, because I carry that kind of weight around. I'm like, I can't play the NFL. Good Lord. That's a lot of weight. Oh my gosh. 6 foot 324. I mean, I'm trying to say, yeah, I mean, Ninja, I don't know, like to see him do a Ninja Warrior, that would be something, because that is a muscular person if it's allocated the right way for that level of height. Because I was told that being 6 feet tall, we are considered tall, but it's the short end of the tall spectrum. So I'm a short, tall person, apparently.
Go 6 feet.
Yeah, go us. And so it's at least we made the cut. It's like that one video of the was his name, the White Mamba or whatever. It's like he like showed him like playing one-on-one with some dude who's like a good prospect for high school, but like they're comparing like the talent between like going Division 1 or even Division 2 versus like the worst player in the NBA from 2011. Like he's still a worst player. He played the NBA, so you're not going to beat him. He's very, very good. And like they just kind of show like the talent level that is that. So as a, you know, it's moments like that where I realize like the true talent of playing in the league, like NFL, NBA, or these or even PGA. You're like how good like these players are really.
Yeah.
So, but back to the sport, I would like to watch Colin play. I mean, I do like the. I mean, okay, you know what? He's 6 feet, so he's tall end of the short spectrum. He's got some muscle mass. You know what? I think gymnastics. You know what? That's about as short as we're gonna get.
There you go.
Floor exercise.
Let's see the floor exercise, like Will Ferrell with the thing.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to go a slightly different direction. So there is a guy named Wayne Shaw who played professional football in England. They called him the roly-poly goalie. He was a 300-pound goalie. He played in like the 3rd or 4th division or something like that, and he was known for eating meat pies on the sidelines of a game. So don't want to go back to the soccer well. So I'm going to say I would love to see Colin Sanders play as a hockey goalie. Because if he's athletic and agile, like we're talking about, think about a dude like that between the pipes, just taking up all the space and just flat out saying, So that would be great. I would love to see him play hockey goalie.
That would be awesome.
All right, so let's get into the defensive side of the ball with Willie Gay. Brian, what do you think about Willie Gay? He's our fast linebacker from Mississippi State.
All right. Let me check it out here. 6'1", 243. Well,
big, imposing, fast. Yeah, just ridiculous.
Yeah, my gosh.
He's an imposing human being.
I would like to see that kind of intimidation. Dodgeball. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
That'd be freaky. Watching this. It's a fast,
You
strong,
guys,
competitive guy.
You guys saw the movie Bad Teacher, right? With Cameron Diaz.
Yes.
I did not.
Okay.
I did not see it. No.
Okay, so the hands down best scene in that to me is when she takes all the kids into the gym and she's trying to teach them stuff so they can pass the state exam or whatever. And she's playing dodgeball and she's throwing balls at kids' faces when they don't answer these test questions correctly. And Jason Segel's character comes in and he's the gym teacher. And he's just like, Miss Halsey, I never. And it's to a point where one of the kids gets a question right and he gets to throw the ball at Cameron Diaz's character, Elizabeth Halsey. And Jason Segel, the gym teacher, was just like, all right, hey, remember what we talked about? Don't throw the ball at her. Throw it through her. Set your feet. Switch your weight. and yeah, it's great. It's great. So that's kind of what I'm picturing with dodgeball.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Willie Gay. I think about how this guy has the potential to be this freak athlete that can theoretically take a sport that doesn't necessarily get a ton of eyes and possibly pull it up into some level of mainstream. So beach volleyball was a thought that I had for him because he's just long, strong, and fast. But I'm going to go ahead and say straight up lacrosse. You know, because if you look at lacrosse, you have these guys that just run around and they're crazy fast and they do the dribbling with the stick and all of that stuff. So I think Willie Gay playing something like that, and I can visually picture myself getting really excited for some summer Olympic type of competition because the U.S. has the most imposing athlete in the world, a guy named Willie Gay, playing center for a lacrosse team.
Yeah.
So that's me.
I like it.
I like it.
I love the beach volleyball vision though. I mean,
oh yeah.
Beach
That could
volleyball.
definitely work. That could definitely work.
Big fan of beach volleyball. So let's get into Frank Clark. What do we see Frank Clark doing?
I got him doing MMA. I mean, you got. I mean, I just see him in an octagon.
I was gonna
man.
say basic boxing, but yeah, it's definitely some aggressive.
I got
just hit
somebody else in
people for
mind
no
for basic
reason
boxing,
sport.
but yeah. I mean, I can see Frank Clark talking plenty of trash, and I think he's got. I mean, just the demeanor
He
for it.
already does it. That's all he does in
Yeah.
football. Just
It
yeah,
is.
okay, so fine. MMA. We'll go with MMA. I agree with that. Brian, any arguments?
Well, hold on, give me a second here because I'm looking at the rest of the list right now, and I'm trying to decide. Okay, so I think this might be the tallest, probably largest person on with the remainder of the list from I can tell here, unless I'm missing something, because I'm doing this by math, you know, like a scientist.
I mean, we might as well turn this into a math problem.
Okay, yeah, okay, 6'3", 270 something. No, I want him to be like a center for on hockey. I want him like check somebody against the wall and put him through the wall. I want to see that happen.
Okay, so Brian wants to see people die playing hockey.
Oh, look, they can. No, I want to see him in a hockey fight. You guys want UFC fighting? I want a hockey fight where the refs let him go until they.
Dude, we're
drop to the
looking for
ground.
the same thing. We're all asking for the same thing. I
You're
guess
gonna be going around
Brian
like Happy
Brian-
Gilmore.
Brian wants him on ice so he can possibly fall. That's what I'm hearing.
No, I want skates on him.
Let's try
Okay.
to stab a guy with a skate.
I'm the only one
I'm
that's
the only
ever
guy to
done
ever do
that. Okay, cool. So yeah, so Frank Clark, we all agree that he's going to be doing something violent. So Tyron Mathau,
Yeah.
what do we have Tyron Mathau, the honey badger himself, doing?
See, I had him doing basic boxing because I could just see him being a little bit more cerebral about his fighting technique. And then, same thing. He'd be a really good trash talker. You would love to see his promotion up to the fight and in the ring. So I could see him doing that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Boxing would be good. He likes to. He's more of a vocal person, right? Am I right? Like he likes to get in people's heads and likes to put some stuff out there. I mean, a lot of players like doing that, but he seems like that was kind of his thing as well.
Yep, he was Tom Brady's BFF in the Super Bowl there.
Yeah, I remember that. So yeah, some sort of contact sport where it was like some sort of contact, like not contact sport, like a fighting sport. It would be fun to see him do that. Though I want all these players to do well. Quite frankly, the only John Gruden, I want to see him fight. So I want to see him get punched in the face. Really
Sure. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to see Honey Badger beat up John Gruden, but throw a weird one out here. I'd love to see the Honey Badger play bowling.
Ooh.
I think that would be interesting because I don't know the guy's name, but I know that bowling all of a sudden was put on TV, and this is like post Kingpin with Bill Murray's Big Earn,
Yeah, Ernie McCracken.
Exactly, Ernie McCracken, and all of a sudden, which by the way, in that movie, he actually threw 3 strikes at the end of that.
Did not know that.
Oh, did he really?
They filmed that live, so like all that reaction, Bill Murray threw a turkey. And that was impressive, but no, I just think about Honey Badger is one of those guys that I feel like has the most just impeccable control over his emotion, and when he shows it, and it's one of those revitalizing bowling type of situations. And I don't know if he bowls or not, but all those Allstate commercials with Chris Paul, he's actually a bowler.
Yeah.
Like he is actually a bowler. And the other NFL player that was a huge bowler, Jerome Bettis, had thrown like multiple 300 games. And,
no way, really?
Oh yeah, no. Jerome
Wow.
Bettis was a stone cold badass when it came to bowling.
Jesus, that's awesome.
Well, I'm assuming still is. I imagine
yeah.
that's probably what he's doing right now.
I don't think you lose that skill.
Dude's probably throwing 800 series, on a weekly basis, some bullshit league that he's playing in. But yeah.
Awesome.
So Tyron Mathau, for whatever reason, bowling just kind of stuck out for me, and it's one of those where he's the kind of guy that, if you have a sport like that and all of a sudden they have a character like
like Pete Weber, Pete Weber just retired, so yeah,
Pete Weber's
who I was character. There you go.
Pete Weber's who I was thinking of. Yep. So there you go. All right, so Dirty Dan, what's the sport for Dirty Dan?
Dan Sorensen, height and wait. Let's take a look.
I'll let Brian chime in first. Or...
6'2", 207. All right. Well, that's a good height. I'm sure he can jump pretty high. You know, obviously he can kick. He can defend. He can hit contact. He can defend good. You know, what's a good defense? I mean, all sports. I mean, I haven't said volleyball yet, like gym volleyball. Like, I mean, he's pretty tall, so maybe he can throw a spike. And I think he's, you know, but he's not afraid to get rough and rowdy. So there's coming like they're like maybe arena league soccer. You know, get really rough. They get pretty rowdy. I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah.
Hockey and volleyball were the two that I went with,
I got
and and I'm inclined to say that I'm going to go to the hockey well for the second time. I could see him playing one of the winger positions, and he's the dude that gets in more fights than you think he does. It's one of those where at the end of the year you start tallying penalty minutes. It's just like, wait a minute, this guy was top 10. It's like everybody seems to like him. So like the hockey player that I really like, Peter Forsberg, the Swedish guy from the Colorado Avalanche, is kind of the guy that I think of. And it was a deal where he was not to be trifled with, but generally speaking, he was just a dude that seemed nice enough, and he was just a legendary hockey player. Yeah, absolutely. Like I could see Sorensen as 90s, exactly as a hockey player, and he played well into the 2000s. So,
yeah.
All right. So I think the last one that we have is one punter, Tommy Townsend. So what do you want to say about this guy?
I got him snowboarding. I mean, with that hair, just seeing him, just doing 360s and crap. I mean,
my question is rock and roll a sport? Because I want to see him play guitar for
band, yeah.
No, is esports count? Can you play StarCraft too? I want to see him do that.
His sports rock and roll.
I love StarCraft, yeah.
Yeah, let's put him in front of a gate computer. I'm gonna play StarCraft against him and see what happens.
Okay, so we're gonna go e-gamer / surfer / guitar player on the side. For all we know, he actually does all this stuff.
For all we know, he's a scratch golfer. He's like, I'll play you in golf. He
probably bowls with Tyrann Mathieu for all we know.
Yeah, he probably does. He probably does. All right. So we've reassigned the entire Chiefs roster. So I guess the big question at this point is what's the parting shot at this point?
Well, so if you haven't heard, and I guarantee that Patrick Mahomes has probably got this on his radar, as of last week, there is a ketchup packet shortage to the point where, so I guess because of the pandemic and the fact that there's been less dine-in eating and shared ketchup bottles, that the ketchup packet industry has gone insane. To the point where I guess Heinz is actually trying to increase their production by 25%. So it's even gotten to the point where there are people actually reselling ketchup on eBay. I kid you not. So, I don't know if Patrick is out there buying up his ketchup or not. He probably already has like a huge supply anyway. Doesn't need packets, but every time when I saw that story, I thought it'd be Patrick. So, get your ketchup packets while you can.
For me, if it's okay if I go.
Yeah, go. I'm not gonna fact check that last thing and just assume this is true, but go on.
We're not gonna Snopes that. The Snopes fact checks us. That only help us, really, to be honest with you. I'm trying to think about what I thought about today, and I realized a big one. So we're watching the news today, my wife and I, and actually my son Vladimir was there, and watching the news, and one president of Russia appeared on the screen. It was one Vladimir Putin. And I remember whenever my son is 4 years old, we were trying to decide what his name is going to be. And there was a lot of names. And obviously we're trying to figure out like the playground game of like, what is the rhyming to that, which the kids will use to make fun of him. And I'm doing my best to like think like, no, don't use that. They'll say that. And trying to like make it easier for him. And I've always liked the name Vladimir. It's actually Vladimir's name of my wife's her the father before he passed when she was a teenager. I'm like, okay, this might be a nice way to like honor that, and I like the name. And so I remember putting it out there to my friends in Lawrence, like, okay, so can anyone think of any way to make fun of Vladimir? Who's got something? And we're all trying to rack our brains. And one of my friends, he goes, "Oh, I got one. Vladimir Poopin." I'm like, "Oh, Vladimir Poopin." Okay, so fast forward. We're watching the news today, and I say, "Vladimir, look, that's Vladimir Putin on the screen there, and he has the same name as you, and his last name is Putin, Vladimir Putin." And my son put a squirrely grin on his face, and he looked at me and he goes, "Vladimir Poopin." And I lost my ish laughing because my friend who called it like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, it came to life now. And I texted him immediately, and he says, actually, he just messaged me right now. And he goes, "What can I say? My brain didn't develop beyond toddler humor." So
Yeah, there you go.
there we go.
So let me ask you this before we get into this. With Paramount Plus, the new CBS type of thing, how many episodes of Beavis and Butthead have you streamed?
I watch them on YouTube.
More.
Yeah, I was going to
than
say you
one
could probably catch them on
is
YouTube.
the answer. More than one. There you go.
Many
All right,
times.
so we're all in the same we're all in the
Yeah.
same world.
All graduated high school like the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so for my parting thing, we brought this up numerous times. I'm a big fan of the sport of baseball, but I've been worried about the sport for a while, and I would say that I get more worried all the time, but something here recently popped up that seriously kind of took me aback. And so I don't know if you've seen the news, but apparently Mark Lohr, the CEO of Walmart, is part of a big group that's going to buy the Minnesota Timberwolves, and that includes Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod, the guy who played for the Yankees, the Red Sox, the
Mariners, yeah.
the Yankees, the Mariners, and the Texas Rangers, not the Red Sox. But he had the massive contracts. He's going to get married to J-Lo.
No, they broke it off.
Oh, did they? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
so in any event, but he was engaged to J-Lo, but still, I mean, the dude is obviously a totally notable individual. Okay.
Mhm.
So the whole news starts to break that he's gonna get some sort of like face recognition ownership with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And so last year they had the number 1 overall pick, which is a guy named Anthony Edwards who played at Georgia. And so they go to the press conference where they're talking about everything, and a reporter asks Anthony Edwards, "So what do you think about Alex Rodriguez?" And he's like, "Well, I have no idea who that is." And so they keep probing him, and they're just like, "No, Alex Rodriguez, you don't know who that is." It's like, "No, I mean, I feel like I heard that name, and he's going to try and buy the team, but I have no idea who you're talking about." And the dude genuinely had no idea who Alex Rodriguez is, which was essentially saying that a world-class athlete from Generation Z has no clue about baseball, which is when you kind of start unpacking that, it's kind of scary. It's essentially saying that there's no connection with the current like young adult generation with the sport.
No, I heard there was I guess a ranking out there of like the top 100 athletes in the world, and there was no baseball player listed on it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's
exactly.
I hear you on that.
And Mike Trout's alive. I mean, that guy's the second coming of Mickey Mantle, you know.
Willie, yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah. So you know, I've heard this before. At one point, boxing was one of the biggest sports in the country, and I know that we talked here recently. I watched the fight that you had us watch, but
Burns and Hagler, yeah.
Exactly. I got to be honest. I could care less about that sport. I somewhat question if it's actually a sport. I'll just be honest. I mean, it is. It's an athletic engagement, but there's zero interest from my part in watching something like that. I mean, MMA has a slightly more interesting, you know, I guess spin to stuff, but I'd probably watch WWE over boxing if I'm, you know, being completely honest about stuff right here. And so I'm genuinely fearful that baseball is kind of going that way, and I think it sucks because I really, really enjoy baseball, but something's gonna have to be done to get
Mhm.
kids under the age of 20 to like that sport, or we're kind of screwed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there's ebbs and flows. Things ebbs and they flow.
So
Yeah, that's true. But so when's the flow coming for things like boxing? What's the flow?
I mean, I don't know. I guess I can't get in the head of what the next generation looks or what they look
Yeah,
into.
yeah.
But obviously, but I don't know. It's just I do know this. Whenever there's if there's a strong supporter, a strong base of something, and
Sure.
I'm not trying to ignore what trends there are. I pay obviously if you ignore trends, then that's like a death sentence if you just start ignoring trends. But
That's
I will
true.
say the base is so strong, and it's been around. It's an institution for however many hundreds of I'll just throw 100 years out there, but people like it. Even if there's down years, a few down years, they can bounce back, and people are like, you know what, this is a fun way to enjoy like full contact or like combat sports. But I don't know. I'm starting to be more like things. What's that line from Jurassic Park? Life finds a way.
Life finds a way. And here's the thing. I want you to be correct. I truly do. But I don't know. This is kind of one of those things where I'm getting into a neg bag mode, and I don't particularly like it. But
well,
you
yeah,
know,
you think about all the research on head injuries now. I mean, that's pretty much all boxing is hitting the other
Yeah.
guy in the head. So yeah.
well, but I mean, baseball shouldn't have any of that stuff. So
No,
maybe they're gonna make a comeback, but still, it's
yeah.
just
I could
know,
probably go on for 15 minutes about what they need to do in baseball, but
yeah, exactly.
there's a
Okay.
lot that needs to be done. But yeah.
Well, we have many weeks between now and the start of football season, and I certainly believe that when we get about a month past the draft, we're going to have, dead time. So I think that we can go ahead and tell everybody we're going to pencil in we're going to talk about baseball exclusively type of episode. And Brian, no worries if you decide that you're not available that night. So
Talk about baseball.
yeah.
I want to talk about baseball. I'll talk about
Okay,
baseball.
sounds good. We'll talk about
Yeah.
baseball.
Let's talk about baseball.
I'll bring my baseball cards. I still have them, you know.
All right.
All right, and I mean, it won't be any. That's as useful as I will be. So,
All right. Well, good stuff. Well, good night to the Arrowhead Kingdom, and we will see you next week.
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Peace.